Dr. He-Jin Kim wiped sweat from her forehead as she carefully brushed dirt away from what looked like an ancient bone. The hot sun beat down on the excavation site in what used to be Yellowstone National Park. It was hard to believe this barren landscape was once a lush wilderness, filled with Earth's most dangerous predators. "Dr. Kim, you need to see this," called out one of her junior researchers. He-Jin stood up, her joints cracking after hours of crouching. She walked over to where the young scientist was pointing at his tablet screen. "The DNA preservation in these samples, it's unlike anything we've seen before," he explained, showing her the readings. "The permafrost must have kept them in perfect condition." He-Jin's eyes widened as she studied the data. After 20 years of searching, they had finally found viable genetic material from Earth's extinct megafauna. Her hands trembled slightly as she called the military liaison assigned to their project. "Major Park, it's Dr. Kim. We found it." Within hours, Major Du-Yun Park arrived at the site via hyperjet. The tall officer's normally stern expression softened as he examined the findings. "After all these years, can you really bring them back?" "The DNA is remarkably intact," He-Jin explained. "With modern genetic engineering, we could potentially resurrect multiple species: dire wolves, short-faced bears, even saber-toothed cats, Earth's ultimate predators." "The Council won't like this," Du-Yun warned. "They already think we're too dangerous, being from a Deathworld and all. If they find out we're trying to bring back extinct predators, then we don't tell them," He-Jin said firmly. "Not until we have proof of concept. Besides, they're the ones who dismissed our genetic capabilities as primitive compared to their bioengineering." Du-Yun nodded slowly. "The Galactic Council has gotten complacent. They think their advanced technology makes them invincible, but they've never faced anything like Earth's apex predators." He-Jin carefully packed the precious samples into a stasis container. These creatures evolved on a high-gravity world with some of the most challenging conditions in the galaxy. Their natural abilities could give us an edge no one expects. Later that evening, in a secure conference room, He-Jin presented her findings to the Earth Defense Committee. The holograms showed detailed reconstructions of the ancient predators: massive dire wolves hunting in coordinated packs, short-faced bears that could crush steel with their jaws, saber-toothed cats capable of taking down prey many times their size. "Ladies and gentlemen," she concluded, "we have a chance to bring back Earth's mightiest defenders. These weren't just animals. They were perfectly evolved killing machines, forged in the crucible of our planet's harsh past. And with modern modifications, they could be even more formidable." The committee members whispered among themselves. Finally, the chairwoman spoke. "Dr. Kim, this is highly irregular. The ethical implications alone." "With all due respect," Du-Yun interrupted, "we can't afford to be squeamish. Intelligence suggests multiple alien powers are developing bioweapons. We need every advantage we can get." After hours of debate, the committee reached their decision. Project Genesis was approved, with He-Jin as lead researcher. As she packed up her materials, Du-Yun approached her. "Congratulations, Doctor. But are you sure you can control these creatures once you bring them back?" He-Jin smiled. "Major Park, who said anything about controlling them? We're not creating weapons. We're bringing back allies. These animals evolved alongside early humans. Deep in their genetic memory, they remember what it meant to share a world with us." As she left the building, He-Jin looked up at the stars. Somewhere up there, complacent alien civilizations thought they had humanity figured out. They saw only the primitive Deathworlders, barely worth noticing. They had no idea what was coming. Earth's ancient defenders were about to return, and this time, they would protect humanity's future among the stars. Deep beneath the Korean peninsula, in a facility hidden from prying alien satellites, Jai-Ho Lee stared at the glowing DNA strands floating in the holographic display. 3 months had passed since Dr. Kim's discovery, and Project Genesis was in full swing. "The dire wolf sequence is ready," Jai-Ho announced to the team. Behind him, rows of cloning tanks hummed softly, their green liquid casting an eerie glow across the lab. Inside each tank, something was growing. Mei Song, the youngest researcher on the team, looked up from her neural scanner. The brain patterns are unusual, Dr. Lee. These creatures are showing activity levels far beyond what the fossil record suggested. Jai-Ho walked over to her station. The neural maps pulsed with complex patterns, more like those of modern pack hunters than ancient predators. They're adapting, he said quietly. The genetic upgrades we added are working better than expected. In the adjacent chamber, separated by thick plastic walls, the first successful specimen was already awake. The dire wolf was massive, standing as tall as a man's chest, with muscles rippling beneath its gray coat. But it was the eyes that caught everyone's attention. Intelligent, watchful, calculating. Beautiful, isn't she? Dr. He-Jin Kim walked into the lab, followed by Major Park. Our first success. The dire wolf's ears perked up at her voice. It moved closer to the wall, watching them with unusual interest. Mei checked her readings again. The neural activity spikes when humans are present. It's like they recognize us somehow. Genetic memory. He-Jin explained. We didn't just restore their DNA. We awakened ancestral memories of when these creatures shared their world with early humans. They remember us as partners, not prey. Suddenly, alarms blared through the facility. Major Park's communicator buzzed. His face darkened as he read the message. The Galactic Council is sending an inspection team. Someone leaked information about unusual genetic activity. How long do we have? Jai-Ho asked, already moving to secure the lab data. 3 hours. We need to hide everything. Mei looked at the dire wolf, still watching them calmly through the wall. What about her? We can't exactly hide a fully grown prehistoric predator. He-Jin smiled. No, we can't. And we won't. Major, give me access to the facility's outer doors. The inspection team arrived precisely on schedule. 3 tall aliens with gray skin and disapproving expressions. They were led by Chief Inspector Varel, known for his particular dislike of primitive species like humans. Our sensors detected illegal genetic manipulation. Varel announced, show us your research immediately. He-Jin led them to the main lab, now spotlessly clean and seemingly empty. Of course, Inspector. We're conducting basic studies on domestic animal genetics. Nothing more. The dire wolf chose that moment to walk into view, patting silently on huge paws. The aliens stumbled backward, their gray skin turning pale. What is that creature? Oh, her. He-Jin said innocently. Just one of Earth's native species we're studying. Surely you knew about Earth's wildlife. After all, we're just primitive Deathworlders. The inspection team left quickly after that, their report stating that while humans were conducting genetic research, it was far too primitive to be of concern. As soon as they were gone, the team burst into laughter. Did you see their faces? Mei giggled. They nearly fainted. They saw exactly what they expected to see. He-Jin said, scratching the dire wolf behind its ears. Primitive humans playing with primitive creatures. They'll never suspect we're bringing back Earth's greatest predators. In the cloning tanks behind them, more creatures were taking shape. A short-faced bear, larger than any modern predator. A saber-toothed cat, its brain already showing signs of enhanced intelligence. This was just the beginning. Earth's ancient defenders were awakening, and the galaxy wasn't ready for them. The emergency alert woke He-Jin at 3 in the morning. As she rushed to the facility, the news played on her car's display. Alien ships had appeared over 3 human colony worlds. The Ravager Empire had finally made its move. Inside the command center, Major Du-Yan Park was already coordinating with Earth's defense forces. The screens showed scenes of destruction. Massive organic ships dropping strange, armored creatures onto human settlements. Our weapons barely scratched their bio-armor, Du-Yan reported grimly. Even plasma cannons just bounce off. They've evolved some kind of energy-dispersing biological shell. Hajin watched the footage closely. The Ravager troops moved like insects, their armor flowing and adapting to different attacks. But there was something familiar about their movement patterns. They're hunting, she realized, like pack predators. But they've never faced real pack hunters before. She turned to Du Yun. How soon can we deploy the Genesis teams? Deploy? They're not ready for combat. Du Yun protested. We've only just started training them. They were born ready, Ho Jin insisted. These creatures evolved on the most dangerous planet in the known galaxy. Fighting is in their blood. Jai Ho and Mei Rei joined them, bringing new data from the labs. The dire wolves are showing incredible pack coordination, Mei Rei reported. And the short-faced bears. Their claws can cut through titanium like paper. Look at this, Jai Ho added, showing footage of Ravager troops attacking a colony. Their bio-armor is tough, but it's still organic. Our predators are designed to hunt organic prey. A new alert flashed across the screens. The Ravagers had breached the defenses of New Sydney Colony. Thousands of civilians were trapped. We don't have a choice anymore, Ho Jin said firmly. Either we deploy now, or we lose those colonists. Du Yun looked at the dire wolves in their holding area, watching them move with deadly grace. These weren't mindless beasts. They were Earth's perfect predators, with intelligence enhanced by modern science. How fast can you get them ready? He asked. They're already ready, Ho Jin replied. The question is, are we ready to show the galaxy what Earth's creatures can really do? Within hours, transport ships carrying sealed containers lifted off from the facility. Inside each container, Earth's ancient defenders waited silently. The dire wolves stood perfectly still, their enhanced minds already planning hunt patterns. The short-faced bears flexed claws that could tear through any armor. The saber-toothed cat's muscles tensed, ready for the perfect killing strike. As the ships entered hyperspace, Ho Jin sent a message to all team members. Remember, we're not just fighting for humanity. We're fighting alongside Earth's greatest warriors, awakened from the past to defend our future. In the command center, they watched as the transport ships approached New Sydney. The Ravagers had never faced anything like what was coming for them. They thought their bio-armor made them invincible. They were about to learn why Earth was called a Deathworld. Earth's ancient hunters were going to war, and the galaxy would never be the same. Tai-Wan Choi watched through the observation window as Yuri Kang entered the dire wolves' enclosure. The young trainer moved with careful confidence, her neural link helmet glowing softly in the dim light. She's too close, Major Park muttered, but Tai-Wan shook his head. Watch, he said simply. Yuri stopped in the center of the room. 6 dire wolves circled her, each one bigger than a horse. The pack leader, a female they called Storm, stepped forward. Yuri didn't move. Through the neural link, Yuri felt the wolves' thoughts. Not in words, but in images and feelings. Hunt. Pack. Protect. The scientists had expected the neural link to let humans give commands to the animals. Nobody expected the link to work both ways. They're not just accepting commands, Mei Rei said, checking her instruments. They're sharing hunting strategies, generations of predator knowledge, flowing directly into human minds. Yuri closed her eyes, letting Storm's memories flow through her. She saw ancient hunts, felt the thrill of the chase, learned the perfect moment to strike. The other wolves joined in, sharing their own knowledge. Remarkable, He Jin breathed. They're teaching her. In the enclosure, Yuri opened her eyes. She looked at Storm and nodded. Then, without warning, she ran. The wolves moved with her, perfectly coordinated. They weren't following her. They were hunting as a pack, with Yuri as part of their unit. Training drones popped up around the room, mimicking Ravager movements. The pack split instantly, each wolf taking a different angle. Yuri moved with them, understanding exactly where she needed to be. Within seconds, every drone was down. The wolves hadn't just attacked. They'd used complex tactical strategies, with Yuri as their central coordinator. "This is beyond anything we expected," Todd once said. "The neural link isn't just letting us control them. It's letting us become part of their pack." Later in the briefing room, Yuri tried to explain. "They don't think like we do. They don't plan. They just know. Millions of years of evolution created perfect hunters, and now we can tap directly into that knowledge." "Can you teach others?" Du-Yun asked. Yuri nodded. "The wolves want to. They understand we're fighting to protect our territory. That's something they know in their bones." Within weeks, more trainers joined the program. Each one bonded with their own pack, learning the ancient ways of Earth's apex predators. The short-faced bears and saber-toothed cats showed similar abilities, each species sharing its unique hunting wisdom. But it was the dire wolves that showed the most promise. Their pack mentality matched perfectly with human military units. They could coordinate complex attacks, set up ambushes, and adapt to any situation. "The Ravagers won't know what hit them," Yuri said, scratching Storm behind the ears. The huge wolf rumbled in agreement. Through their link, Yuri felt the pack's eagerness for real combat. They wouldn't have to wait long. The Ravagers were pressing their attack, confident in their bio-armor and superior numbers. They had no idea that humanity had awakened something far more dangerous than mere weapons. Earth's perfect hunters were ready for war, and now they had human minds to guide them. Alarms blared across Proxima Colony as Ravager ships darkened the sky. Yuri Kang stood in the command center, neural link active, feeling Storm's anticipation through their connection. 5 other wolf packs waited in the launch bays, each bonded with their human handlers. "Ravager forces have breached the outer defenses," Major Park reported. "Their bio-armor is still resistant to our weapons." "Then it's time to show them what real predators can do," Yuri said. Through the link, she sent a single thought to Storm: "Hunt." The launch bay doors opened. 6 packs of dire wolves charged out, each one led by their human partner. Yuri ran with Storm's pack, feeling the perfect unity of the hunt. The wolves moved like shadows, their enhanced muscles carrying them faster than any natural creature. Ravager troops spotted them and opened fire, but the wolves were already gone, using hunting patterns perfected over millions of years. Yuri guided them through the colony's streets, coordinating with other packs through their neural links. "Now," she commanded. The wolves struck from all sides. The Ravager's bio-armor, so effective against energy weapons, meant nothing to the dire wolves' teeth and claws. Storm's pack took down 3 Ravagers in seconds. Through the neural link, Yuri felt their triumph. In another sector, the short-faced bears joined the fight. Their massive claws, enhanced by modern science, tore through the supposedly impenetrable armor like paper. The Ravagers had never faced anything like these Earth predators, and they didn't know how to fight them. "The bears are breaking their lines." Mayre's voice came through the comm. She was monitoring the neural feeds from the command center. "Their armor can't adapt fast enough." The saber-toothed cats struck next, dropping from buildings onto Ravager commanders. Their enhanced strength let them punch through even the thickest armor, their perfect killing bite unchanged after millions of years. Yuri ran with Storm's pack, coordinating attacks through the neural link. The wolves moved like one creature, striking and vanishing before the Ravagers could respond. Through their shared connection, Yuri knew exactly where to guide them. In orbit, the Galactic Council's observers watched in shock. The primitive humans weren't just fighting back, they were winning. And they were doing it with creatures that seemed impossible. "Pull back." The Ravager commander's voice echoed across their communication channels. "These Deathworld monsters, they're tearing through our best troops." Within hours, the Ravager forces retreated from Proxima Colony. The ground was littered with pieces of their broken bio-armor, torn apart by teeth and claws evolved on humanity's deadly homeworld. Yuri stood with Storm's pack as the sun set. Through their neural link, she felt their satisfaction. They had protected their territory, just as their ancestors had done millions of years ago. Major Park approached, looking at the massive wolves with new respect. "The council representatives want to know how we did it." Yuri smiled, feeling Storm's amusement through their link. "Tell them the truth. On Earth, we weren't always the apex predator, but we learned from the best." Dr. Heijin Kim stood frozen before the holographic display. The images showed new Ravager creatures, twisted things that moved on too many legs. The enemy had created their own biological weapons. "They're copying our idea," Jaho said, studying the footage. "But they don't understand what makes Earth's predator special." Mireille burst into the lab, her tablet displaying new readings. "The Ravagers are using some kind of psychic attack. Their new creatures can send fear waves that paralyze our soldiers." Hajin looked at the ancient DNA samples they hadn't used yet. "Then we need to fight back with predators that know no fear." She pointed to 3 containers. Megalodons for space combat, terror birds for aerial warfare, Earth's perfect killers for every battlefield. In the cloning chambers, new life took shape. The megalodon, a shark bigger than a spacecraft, grew in a massive tank. Its brain showed the same enhanced patterns they'd seen in other specimens. In another chamber, terror birds stretched their deadly claws, their enhanced intelligence obvious in their sharp eyes. "The megalodons are showing unusual resistance to psychic attacks," Mireille reported, checking her sensors. "Their primitive brains are too alien for the Ravagers to influence." "Of course," Hejin smiled. "These creatures came from a time when Earth was even more dangerous than today. Fear was a luxury they couldn't afford." Major Park entered the lab, his uniform dusty from the latest battle. "The Ravagers are pushing hard. Their new bioweapons are causing panic in our ranks." "Not for long," Hejin said. "Our ancient friends are about to teach them why Earth's oceans were once the deadliest place in the galaxy." The first test came in the asteroid belt of Proxima Centauri. A Ravager bioship, massive and terrifying, approached the human fleet. But something bigger was waiting in the darkness. The megalodon struck without warning. Teeth evolved to crush the strongest armor Earth had ever produced, tore through the bioship's hull like paper. The Ravager's psychic attacks bounced harmlessly off the ancient predator's mind. In the skies over New Sydney, terror birds swooped through clouds of flying Ravager creatures. Their enhanced intelligence let them outmaneuver anything in the air, while their primitive brains made them immune to psychic fear. "They're retreating." Yuri's voice came through the comm. Her wolf packs had been fighting alongside the terror birds, the ancient predators working together, just as they had millions of years ago. Hajin watched the battle feeds with satisfaction. The Ravagers had tried to copy Earth's predators, but they didn't understand. These creatures weren't just weapons. They were the ultimate survivors, shaped by a world more dangerous than anything the galaxy had ever seen. And now, they were fighting for humanity. Major Duyan Park stared at Earth's defense screens as thousands of red dots appeared. The Ravager fleet was massive, the largest attack force ever seen in human space. "They're done testing us," he said grimly. "This is their full invasion force." Dr. Heijin Kim nodded, watching the massive bioships approach. "Then it's time to show them everything we have." In the orbital launch bays, Yuri prepared her wolf packs for space combat. Their special suits let them fight in zero gravity, while their neural links kept them connected to their human partners. "All teams ready," Yuri reported. Through her link with Storm, she felt the wolf's eagerness for battle. The pack understood the importance of this fight. Deep in the asteroid belt, the megalodons waited silently. Their massive bodies had been modified for space combat, their ancient hunting instincts perfectly suited for the dark void. The terror birds perched on orbital platforms, their enhanced eyes tracking enemy movements. They had learned to work with human fighters, creating deadly combinations of ancient and modern warfare. "Enemy fleet entering range," the command center announced. "All units, engage at will." The battle for Earth began. Megalodons struck first, their huge bodies smashing through Ravager bioships. Teeth that once crushed the strongest sea creatures on Earth now tore apart alien vessels. The ancient predators showed why Earth's oceans had been feared for millions of years. Terror birds swooped through space, attacking smaller enemy ships. Their perfect killing instincts, enhanced by modern technology, made them unstoppable in three-dimensional combat. They protected human fighters, working together just as their ancestors had once hunted with early humans. HFY led the wolf packs in boarding actions. The dire wolves moved through enemy ships like ghosts, their enhanced strength letting them fight in low gravity. Through their neural links, humans and wolves fought as one, using hunting patterns perfected over millions of years. Their main fleet is breaking. Mayray's voice came through the comm. The megalodons are tearing them apart. The Ravagers tried their psychic attacks, but Earth's ancient predators were immune. Their primitive brains were too alien, too perfectly evolved for combat, to be affected by mental warfare. Du Yan coordinated the defense from Earth Command. Human ships and ancient predators worked together, proving why Earth was called a Deathworld. Every creature they had resurrected was a perfect killer, shaped by a planet more dangerous than anything in the galaxy. The Ravager fleet began to retreat. Their bioships, torn and broken by Earth's defenders, fled into deep space. They had thought their biological weapons made them invincible. They had never faced Earth's true apex predators. As the last enemy ships disappeared, HFY felt Storm's satisfaction through their neural link. The pack had defended their territory, just as their ancestors had done for millions of years. But now their territory included the stars themselves. Earth's ancient defenders had protected humanity once again, proving that the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy had always come from humanity's deadly homeworld. The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the Ravager's Supreme Commander signed the surrender document. Earth's victory was complete, and everyone knew why. In the viewing gallery, Dr. He-Jin Kim stood with Major Du Yan Park, watching history unfold. Through the massive windows, they could see the megalodons patrolling space around the station, their massive forms a reminder of Earth's power. The Council wants to name us guardians of ancient knowledge, Du Yan said quietly. They're finally admitting that Earth's creatures were special. He-Jin smiled. They should have known. No bioengineered weapon could match millions of years of evolution on a Deathworld. Back on Earth, Yuri Kang was helping build the new sanctuary. Huge habitats spread across the restored Yellowstone region, each one housing different species they had brought back. Storm's pack now had a territory bigger than any ancient wolf could have dreamed of. The neural links are permanent now, Mayray reported, checking her readings. The bonds between humans and predators have become part of their genetic code. Future generations will be born ready to connect. In orbit, terror birds nested on space stations, working with human pilots to patrol Earth's borders. The megalodons had claimed the asteroid belt as their hunting ground, keeping watch for any threats to their adopted home. Jaiho entered the sanctuary's main lab, carrying new DNA samples. We found more, he announced. Other predators, waiting to be awakened. But this time, we're bringing them back because they deserve to live again, not just for war. He-Jin touched the glass wall separating them from a group of playing dire wolf pups. Their mother, Storm, watched calmly as Yuri taught them basic commands through their neural link. The ancient predator's intelligence shone in her eyes. Not just a weapon, but a partner in humanity's journey to the stars. We learned something important, He-Jin said to the gathered team. Earth wasn't just a death world that made us tough. It was a cradle for the most incredible creatures in the galaxy. And now they're protecting us again, just like they did millions of years ago. The Council had given humanity special status, acknowledging their role as guardians of Earth's ancient knowledge. No one would dare threaten them now, not with Earth's defenders watching the stars. Yuri led Storm's pack out for their evening patrol, their neural links humming with shared purpose. Above them, terror birds soared through the sunset sky. In the distant asteroid belt, megalodons guarded their new territory. Earth's ancient defenders had returned, and this time they would never leave. They were part of humanity's future now, proving that the most powerful weapons weren't created in labs. They were shaped by millions of years on the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. And they would keep humanity safe among the stars, just as they had done since the dawn of time on their shared Deathworld home.